Another thing that I'd like you to think about, and there's a lot of information, all of you have dealt with challenging people in your careers. In fact, there were a couple of workshops yesterday offered about dealing with conflict resolution. There's lots of ways to do this, but I would suggest that most of us are very ill prepared when we are in the middle of this screaming sandwich. It's easy to be the screamer, but it's tough to be the screamee. And when you're getting hammered from here, from inside, from outside, it's really hard to be centered. So I've created a model that I've used for a number of years that I call the RAPS model. And without getting into a lot of detail, it's really it's a balance again. You'll see the theme that I have with all these things is balance. RAPS is like you're rapping with somebody, like you're communicating, you're syncopating, you're connecting. And RAPS is basically an acronym for reflect, advise, probe, and support. More important than those words, however, is this, and this is what I'd like you to think about. Instead of the nouns that I'm using up here, the words, the vocabulary, is this model of balance. Information versus emotion. RAPS model is designed to attack both sides of the equation. Reflecting and supportive statements are inherently emotional. Yes, that would be difficult. I can see how this is a difficult time for you. I can't imagine the impact this has had on your family. A and P, advise and probe, that's pretty simple. This is how long it's going to take, this is what I can do, this is the paperwork you've got to fill out, this is how you fill it out. Most of us are pretty good at A and P. Most guys are pretty lousy at R and S. Most guys wouldn't know a feeling if it slapped them in the face, much less how to deal with it. I'll give you a real simple example. Over the years I designed this model, I've worked with it, but I still stub my toe. I'll never forget a few years ago, more than a few years ago, when my oldest daughter was about 7 or 8, she came home complaining about her soccer coach, who was a real jerk. And so in my dad mode, I started asking questions and probing. What's going on? What's going on? How can I help you? Advising, probing. I'm in the task mode. I'm in the information mode. She was decidedly emotional. And she said, Dad, even if I told you, you wouldn't get it. And stormed down the hallway and slammed her door. And my wife stood in the kitchen and she went, nicely done, Mr. Raps. Mr. Communicator Extraordinaire. That's what I'd like you to think about, is most of us dealing with emotionally distraught people. It's no different than preheating an oven to put in your Thanksgiving turkey, and you open the oven and you get this blast of hot air. That's the emotion. You got to let that go by. But if you attack that emotion with a logical argument, it ain't going to mesh. The gears are going to grind. So I would encourage you to think about how you as an individual, how you as a team deal with those emotional outbursts, whether it's from your employee base or the folks that you're trying to help get employment, and see if you're well balanced there.